It's 9 o'clock and everyone is here. We'll start the meeting. Call the meeting to order, I should say. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looking for approval of the agenda. Any additions or corrections or changes?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes from last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And public comment period. Anybody wish to address the board this morning? Yeah, I wonder if Tess is available early?
Oh, she's here a minute ago.
Next week.
So far.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We could, do you want to start with discussion and I can kind of get ahead of it?
That sounds good. Why don't we, okay. Well, let's start with discussion items and approved claims, human service license center. We haven't
Still
seen
in
it.
process.
Okay, we'll wait on that one. Number 2, did everyone see in advance the approved application for cancellation of forfeiture?
Yes.
Do a motion on
I'll
that.
make a motion to approve the cancellation of forfeiture.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And now I believe, Tess, we are running a little ahead of time if you want to.
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
How are you folks over there?
Trying to stay warm.
Yes, isn't that the truth? Rick, you want to come on up? Okay, I have actually a rather short agenda. Planning Commission appointees, the first item on the agenda. Planning Commission Search Committee had met on 2 different occasions. Actually, we had a first round search committee, a second round search committee. And the first round search committee interviewed 6 applicants, and the field reduced the field. It was very interesting interviews with all folks. Really appreciate people taking the time to come and meet with us. There were 3 finalist candidates that the pool was then reduced from 6 to a field of 3. We had second round interviews with those 3 last week. At this time, the search committee recommends the appointment of Richard Schill to the Houston County Planning Commission for calendar years 2014, 15, and 16. And Director Rick Frank is here to field any questions you might have, and I know there's commissioners who participated as well.
And like Tess said, I think Dana and Justin did the first 6, and then Steve and I did their 3, and I felt very well. Rick did, Rich, I think it goes by Rich, right?
Yes.
He did address all the questions very factually, and that's why I think we made the recommendation at that point to,
They were all good candidates.
they were all
you know.
good.
What's his last name?
Schultz.
Schild,
S-C-H-I-L-D.
S-C-H-I-L-D. It was a very difficult decision because when you have very qualified and willing people to serve like that. But we did have a good process, good equal opportunity process, and went through. Did you have anything
I
to
thought
add?
Rich did a
Rick?
very good job in our interviews too. Very good
So at this point, we're looking for a motion from the board. It's to your appointment, I assume, Mr. Sharp.
Move to approve Rich Shield.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
I will abstain only because I know some of these candidates personally. So
Okay.
I'm gonna step down from this one.
Okay. Hearing that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One recused. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then I need one.
Oh, yes, go ahead, please.
The only other thing I have is we also need a appointment for an alternate for the Board of Adjustment. And I think the consensus when we were talking was to actually look at the candidates to see if there'd be one out of there that we could use.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you for that.
That's where I guess we need any discussion on that. I know, like I said, we had a pool of very good candidates sitting there, and I don't know if there's any thoughts on, from the board on proceeding with those, or if you want to, you had some other idea?
No, I think that's what we kind of set forward was if Bruce did not want it, we would take one of the other top applicants. So I would go to the next. Oops, the next.
Might I summarize some of the last committee thoughts on that for you? It was the term, and please speak up if I'm not summarizing correctly. It's my understanding that the search committee was of the opinion that Arlen Peterson would be recommended to that position. I'm not certain if Mr. Peterson is interested in that position. I haven't spoken with, I spoke with him and he was taking it under consideration. And we'll get back with folks, but, as he was the, there was considerable discussion on that, and I think he was considered well positioned for that.
So he hasn't been approached with this, is that right?
He has.
Has, okay.
He needs to, and maybe that's something that Director Frank can follow up on.
I think we should leave it up to Rick to contact, like you say, from that pool of.
What I can do is I'll get a hold of him this week and we'll have some discussion, and then I can report back.
And if he
Okay.
doesn't.
Then Ken would be the next step.
Yeah.
To write down, yeah.
Yeah, just let us know, Frank.
Okay.
Thanks, I'm sorry for
I'm
that.
done. No.
Okay. Next, we have a retirement in human services, and we're recommending accepting the intent to retire notice that Ms. Gail Stortz served on us, and that's effective the end of the business day, July 31st of 2014. And I do want to point out that Ms. Stortz has 34 years of public service, and has performed 34 years of public service in the interest of Houston County residents. So it is, we wish her very, very well in her endeavors. The Director of Human Services and I will be coming to the board, not next week, but the following week, with some recommendations for, I know she met with subcommittee this morning, and we'll be following through with that in 2 weeks from today.
You just need a motion on that.
Formally accept it, so we have it on record.
So
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We did talk about that at committee, that we need to move on her position because it's a very vital position that needs advanced training.
And I spoke with her this morning, and
Oh, good.
I talked to her about being that we need to be inside our 6-month window for the purpose of merit, and so we'll be just fine with that. And we have a current search going on that might yield considerable interesting candidates for social workers, and if that's the case, we may be able to draw from that pool as well.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Save us some money with costing out a second search.
Money.
And is Mary here? I was looking for Mary Thompson. Public Health, did you meet with them as well this morning?
Yes,
I don't know if they spoke about this. They had an administrative team meeting, and as you know, we have a retirement that has came forward some time ago that they wanted to hold off until they could really determine what they needed to be doing with regards to searching for a public health nurse at this time or not, and they looked at all their numbers over, did their analysis, they did their due diligence, and determined at this time, and my assumption is in conjunction with our new public health director, who is all on board electronically right now with us. They would like to initiate a search for a 1.0 FTE public health nurse at this time to replace the retiring person, and they, I assume, will be sorting out assignments, but they are really over their heads right now, treading water, doing well, but really need to get going with this. So I respectfully request that we have permission to go forward with that search. And I appreciate the fact that they really looked and looked before just jumping out and saying, we'll replace this retiree.
Motion to advertise for
To initiate the search for hire.
search for hire for public health nurse.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And we have some, two probationary employees, Mike Rasmussen and John Dollar. Mike Rasmussen's a part-time employee, so when he reaches, and he's very close to it, I mean, hour by hour, he gets closer, obviously. When he reaches the 1,040 hours, it's the recommendation, the jail administrator's recommendation that he be converted from probationary to regular status, and I'm in agreement with that.
And he's a jailer.
And the evaluation's been done and everything's in place with that.
Motion to put Mike Rasmussen as
Right.
regular
Second.
employee.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And on February 1, John Dollar will have completed his 1,040 hours. And he's a full-time maintenance worker. His primary duties are over in the Justice Center. He is a half-time custodial work and half-time technical specialist for the systems over there. And he's been doing, he reports to my office, he's been doing a fine, fine job. He is certainly one who sets a fine example and model employee for the county. So I wholeheartedly recommend him.
Move to approve John Dollar?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. There again, Jamie's not on till 10, so let's move down to the consent agenda.
You already have one, coming as soon as you can.
Works for me.
Yeah, sure, if you can do it in 45 minutes, that'd be nice.
Well, let's go with the consent agenda. We'll
While
start.
we wait.
Put her in slot.
That's good, Justin. Okay, everybody see tons delivered to Excel.
Yes.
Motion to approve the
Second.
consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Sorry, Dana.
Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unfinished business. You want to start with that, Justin? Frac sand issue updates?
Yeah, I'll do that. Real quick, I was in Winona this last weekend for the land stewardship and the Frac Sand Summit, and very good meeting. I was pleasantly surprised by the turnout.
Hey, Tim, this is Charlotte in the
I would say.
boardroom. We are way ahead of schedule.
Packed.
and we'd like Linda to come up.
Had some really good speakers come in.
Could you track her down?
A lot of it had
Oh,
to
good.
do with health-related issues as
Thank
far
you.
as
Bye.
inhalation of dust and particle sizes and stuff. Unfortunately, I had another meeting to get to that I couldn't stay for the second half of the day, but the first half was very interesting. Learned a lot. I'm going to try and get some of the electronic presentation or whatever. A couple of things were said that I thought would be kind of nice to bring back to show everybody. So I'm going to try and get a hold of that. Also, there is an article. I'll pass this around if you guys want to get or maybe I'll even get you a copy regardless. I had a resident out west send me this article in the mail from the LA Times in regards to some of the things going on out there, and they keep me, I guess, kind of informed of things happening in regards to fracking and frac sand mining. And this one was kind of interesting because it talks about Illinois and the big boom there with all the sand and everything too. So, so if you guys want to, you can read it and I'll pass it around for you. But so anyway, that's kind of a brief summary. But that summit went well, and I was glad with the turnout, and hopefully get some information out there.
And you ended up with terrible weather.
Oh, it was horrendous.
Actually-
Well, that was what we were kind of concerned about, was how many people are going to show up, since it was, really, really wicked out. But it was a full house, so it was good.
Winona's doing some monitoring, aren't they?
They are. Yep, up on the YMCA, they put a monitor up there. They need to have a calibration period, which they're going to use for right now. Obviously, there's nothing.
A baseline?
Right, exactly. So, so anyways, it'll be up there. Particle size, I think it goes down, I don't know, like is it 2.5 or is it 10 micrometers? It's one of the two. So for particle sizes, so it's getting down there. One of the speakers was talking about particle sizes that are even smaller than that, in the nanometers, that are kind of concerning. He's a doctorate professor at University of West Virginia, and with all their coal mining and stuff, he was talking about the particles and stuff that they're getting from there, and how some of the studies are showing that it's not necessarily the bigger particles, but it's the really, really small particles. Just like if you took a bunch of golf balls and put them in a mayonnaise jar, it takes 5 to fill it up, but if you take, little grains of sand or something, you can fill a lot up in there. So they're talking about some of the health issues that they're seeing out there from even smaller than the 2.5 micrometer stuff. So anyway, so it was interesting.
Are they measuring, diesel particulate?
On that one, I don't know if that was doing that or not. If it's just the
Or sand
and stuff.
the sand dust?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I'll find out. I'll look into that, because that one of the professors was saying that the instruments to get the very small, very fine, ultra fine particles cost a lot of money. I'm not sure if this is one of them or not.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think it'd be good to know just for our own
oh, absolutely.
ordinance here, that kind of information.
Yeah, and they're talking, on a side note, I was reading an article about the train traffic with oil being produced in the United States more, and they were showing just the amount of traffic increase from the last 2 years to now, and then what's projected for the next 5 to 10 years, and it's staggering, the train traffic they're projecting.
Thank you, Beth.
Yeah, special thank you to Beth. She brought back information for each of us to
Yep.
review too, so
Yep.
yeah, appreciate that.
Good.
Yeah, sounded interesting.
Yeah, it was very.
So we can, and I heard the roads were terrible. All right, I think, Linda, we're running way ahead. If you would like to do you and Tim and your group there.
Hey, this is Sharon.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever had a human service meeting this early.
No, that's okay.
It's nice to incorporate.
How you doing?
part of the
Good, you Tim?
meeting.
Okay, I guess we can just go, can we?
You can.
Tim, I think would like to introduce a new intern we have.
Yeah, this is starting as of last week. This is Sarah Grant and Viterbo. So she'll be with Human Services until May.
What year are you?
This is my 5th year at Viterbo, so super senior year.
Are you from the area originally?
I'm from Winona.
Oh, okay, so
originally.
local. Good.
Yep,
Welcome.
thank you.
She doesn't quite find out where she's gonna be yet, so she's she's shadowing all the departments first, then we'll make a decision from there.
Perfect.
Yeah, we like interns, they help us. They help us an awful lot with things, and they learn a lot too, so it really benefits both of us, so we're really happy to have her here, so.
It's a great educational experience mixed with having to do a lot of filing.
Oh, she does a lot more than that. She'll eventually be going out on calls and all kinds of things, so, yeah.
Probably before we move on, we should approve the minutes from our last human service meeting,
Yep.
because they were separate at that time. So,
Yeah.
I know you got copies of it.
Move to approve, go ahead.
Very well, so you do.
Move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
I think Justin needs to sign.
Yes.
He's the fellow in charge of the days.
That was December 17th.
Yeah.
Seems so long ago.
All right.
Okay. Other than that, maybe we should just go ahead with the updates we have. I should mention too, Karen Kohlmeyer just isn't here this morning because, well, you know, anyway, so. But other than that, I kind of had things in order on your agenda, so we'll just flip things around. One thing I do want to say with the director's update, one nice thing that our counties have done, and I'm talking our whole region, is they've combined, so they're all on the same day now. Our East Hub meeting, which is really always mental health, that includes, they've combined East Hub anyway with our director's meeting, which is all of Region 10. Director's meeting has usually 11 or 12 people who attend that one because there's 2 from Region 9. The East Hub meeting now has 5 counties we include in our East Hub for mental health. And the reason we have these meetings all the time is we do collaborate an awful lot, and I brought you a list of things we talked about at the last meeting. But anyway, what's so nice is they used to be on 2 separate Fridays, so I would end up going twice. And now they combine them, so they are following the director's meeting. We have the East Hub in the afternoon. And you probably remember, but the East Hub counties include, well, us, Fillmore, Wabasha, Winona, and Goodhue counties. So it's really been nice. We've really been doing a lot of collaboration as far as the mental health and as far as the region in general with the larger group. So anyway, at the last director's meeting, I gotta think when that was, the 2nd Friday of January. So the 10th, okay. I did get to meet Neva Bahr. She's the new manager for Fillmore County for Human Services. And she's a nice young lady, and I believe she has quite a bit of experience. It seems like with group homes in the Rochester area, a lot of the Rochester people know her quite well. So anyway, that was nice to get to know her and meet her. Other than that, one thing we have been working on as a region, not just East Hub, is we have a crisis grant that's been allowed us by the state. Right now it's about $130,000, and that needs to be spent by June 30th, but what it's allowing us to do, which is more important, is to set up a crisis program within the entire region. So a lady named Amy Schillebeer, she's also from Olmsted County, is going to be the overall manager of the program. What it's going to do is allow us to have an 800 hotline where people who are in trouble can call, and we can handle children and adults. And a lot of what the money will be spent on at this point in time will be to pay for the coordinator, and then we need to get some hardware and software. There's a lady named Carolyn Wheeler who actually handles the Young Doll Living setting in Owatonna, who is going to be in charge of the call center and arrange things there. So we will have a call center. I don't think we have enough money to have it 24/7, but they did talk about having the call center from 4 to 11 p.m., you know, after all of our respective counties are closed, and then weekends and holidays they would have someone on full-time then too as well. But anyway, that's all kind of in the midst and in the process of being arranged and being refined, And they figure it will probably be open by midsummer, whatever midsummer means, July maybe, something like that. Is that what you heard, or summer earliest, or?
Well, the 150,000 is a startup fee, and there's another 200 and some
Yeah.
on top of that to keep it ongoing, sustainable. The goal is to have the centralized 1-800 number done by June.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, they'll look at working on with the hubs in the region to get the actual mobile crisis team up and running, contracting, using resources that are located within each county. So whether it's Hiawatha Valley or social workers here or whatever it is, to get somebody that would be on call. Probably 4 to 11. It's not going to be 24-hour response. We just don't have enough funds with the grant itself. But 4 to 11, somebody would be on call to handle some of those crisis things and to go out with law enforcement and that type of thing.
So it'll be social workers from all over in Hiawatha
Yeah.
Valley?
Well, they're trying to do it so it's located in each county, at least one person on call in each county, so the crisis response can happen quicker. It shouldn't take more than 1 to 2 hours for somebody to be able to respond to a crisis. That's the goal. So you can't really have somebody from Rochester or wherever else. They would have to have somebody within the county or a neighboring county that would be on call.
But if it would be the after-hours call, then it would come, in our area, our East Hub area, it would be Hiawatha Valley, who is part of the whole mix, but there's like 3 mental health centers. There's Zumbro Valley for the people over by Rochester, and then what is the other one? It's the Carolyn Wheeler, name of that one, yeah. Anyway, so every area will have somebody, but if it would happen during the day, then of course we in the county would cover it.
How
Yeah.
often does it come up, a crisis situation?
Between adult and kids quite a bit, honestly. You look at people that are currently sitting in jail right now, that's how it's handled. If a mental health issue arises, law enforcement calls out, and if they think it's a safety risk, that's what typically happens. They try to get them in somewhere at least a few times a month right now. So.
Yeah, and they're going to start with the adults, because it's apparently everything that goes with an adult, you could probably answer this better than me, but is a little more straightforward and simple than dealing with children. So the children, they consider they're a little more challenging, and they'll probably do them in a couple of different phases, but they'll start with adults. So it's really good. It's something, our whole area, when you look at a big map of the state, our region has been white. The rest of them all have it covered and have done it for quite a while, with the exception of up in the northeast, like by Duluth, and there they did not have one. I don't know if they're adding one now or not, but I hope they applied for the grant too.
So will this help at all with, like, when people end up in jail because it's a mental health issue?
The goal would be to divert those issues using, less restrictive resources and things like that. Trying to avoid placements, trying to avoid those things, if at all possible. I mean, this is not going to be a perfect system. You're probably still going to have people that are accessing other facilities. But yeah, the goal would be to not have them in jail if possible. And we did have a crisis response in southeastern Minnesota through Hiawatha Valley, not sustainable at that point in time. The grant will help out quite a bit. La Crosse does have another one that's in place as well.
Yeah, I think La Crosse has had theirs quite a long time. Bigger though, they have more money, more resources. What else we have going on? One thing that we've been calling it the Young Doll of the East, kind of, or something, but Young Doll living over in Owatonna is a housing facility for, how many, 16 bed for people who are mentally ill, who would like to get back to having a regular, normal life. And at that point in time, when that went into place, I want to say they started that about 2009. Does that sound right? Something like that. I have to remember the history. Anyway, at that point in time, everybody in the region agreed to I guess we would say, write a check to the Young Doll living over there for $5,000 from each county out of the 12 counties at that point in time, to help with ongoing operating costs. So annually, we do pay $5,000 a year to that. Well, now finally it's our turn. So over in Winona, they are going to build another one, and this time it's going to be purely using GRH beds, GRH2 beds they call it, instead of having the mix. It'll be easier for somebody to do the math and the paperwork and the accounting side of it if it is all GRH. but instead of calling it Young Doll, because we've been trying to think of a name, it's going to be called Upper Mississippi Living, which is nice. And then,
It's still under discussion.
oh, is it? Is it really? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was pretty well a done deal, but I don't know. But that's what Lynn had told me on Friday. But anyway, it doesn't, if they change it a little, that's fine too. But I guess I'm just glad they're not calling it Young Doll, because I have no idea who Young Doll is or why it got called that or anything. But anyway, it's kind of nice because now these counties in our region who are out west, they're all going to donate the $5,000 toward our project over here. So I guess it pretty much boils down to pretty even, Steven, and I guess I'm happy that we're having it over here because it'll be a lot more accessible to us.
They're really close with nailing the location down right now.
Yeah, and a lot of planning has gone into it, and they have had some community partners, things like that, helping them financially, so it's really neat. I'm real glad about it. It'll be a real useful thing, and we've needed it here for a long time. So, what else do I have on here? I've got a lot, actually. We are planning on February, they've been talking about having a brass coating workshop, and brass coats are what we use for all the social services programs. So they're not all that easy, and they don't really jive with our accounting system, but we need to make them jive, and it's an education to learn how brass works. So that one sounds like they're going to have some experts from some other counties actually come in and teach. So I know like Mike Zorn from Goodhue is going to be there, and Terry Meering from Olmsted. They're all the accounting people from other counties. And then
What is brass?
brass?
Yeah.
Oh golly, I should have had the acronym. It's do you remember?
No, they're the codes we use to bill our services.
Yeah.
And so whether or not it's crest funds or grant funds, they're categorized under things such as transportation, living, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the way they're coded and the way we report need to kind of be, on even keel. So when we report quarterly, we know what we're reporting, where we're spending our money, basically is what it is.
Brass does.
It's a way to organize that.
Yeah, it is an acronym though, but I can't remember.
And is it a training just for the,
Social workers.
and will it be here or?
I think it might be in Winona County because that's a little more central, and that way a bunch of counties can go. I wouldn't think it would hurt for me to send some accounting staff actually to go and learn too, but definitely for the social workers. And I'll encourage the accounting people to go, and I think they should. So.
And to be completely honest, we're actually in better shape than a lot of other counties.
Mhm.
Actually, we're in really good shape compared to most counties in regards to reporting where our money's going. And so I do know that some of the larger counties don't track and utilize the system that they have well enough compared to what we do. We actually track in two different systems right now.
Good to hear.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
piece we are doing well.
Yeah, and that I kind of credit our accounting group really because they're kind of brass gurus in a lot of ways. So but they still can go, and maybe they'll learn something new. I kind of think they might. So the other thing we've been working on with Hiawatha Valley partnering, and this is as an East Hub group, so it's the 5 counties, is a prescribing team. There's been a ton of prescribers who retired this last year or two. Physicians who are psychiatrists, and they just have retired, so we've had a real shortage. So what we've been working on, and Lynn Skinner actually has been on our behalf, she's been going to colleges kind of recruiting for physician's assistants, nurse practitioners, that kind of thing. So anyway, we do pretty well have one a nurse practitioner who did a nurse practicum at Hiawatha Valley, probably hired, and she will start right around the 1st of May, which is really good for us because along with that, with Hiawatha Valley, we've been partnering, doing telemedicine, that kind of thing, and we actually have ours paid for. We are going to have a camera and a setup in Caledonia so people can go do their telemedicine over at the Hiawatha Valley office in Caledonia, and that should alleviate a lot of the problems we've had right now. It's really backed up. How long do you think? 3 or 4 months before you can get an appointment with a psychiatrist right now?
At least with a psychiatrist.
Yeah, it's really a shortage. So this is a really, really much needed thing. And this person comes from St. Scholastica. And the way it sounds, there's also a couple more who are going to be doing practicums around and about the region. And so maybe there's potential for hiring another one. And that's really a good thing going on. Other than that, I should update you on how, Goodhue County has a mental health center. I'm sorry. Yeah, they have a mental health center. Their county voted to close that. And it was county run, basically. That's gonna close April 1st, but in the meantime, Hiawatha Valley has obtained a contract to go to Goodhue. And they're going to be set up actually in Red Wing, and the building is going to be downtown Red Wing, I understand, in a Merchants Bank, old Merchants Bank building. And anyway, that all kind of takes place April 1st, so you kind of might like to know that. And other than that, the Crest Group is working on hiring a regional trainer, and that one has been going on for about a year. Right now it's going through, I believe, the unions and banding, that kind of thing, and that will, the host county on that will be Winona County. So that's pretty much my update that way. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah, it's really all about mental health, though. I think everything on there. I do have some contracts too that need to be taken care of today. So they're all 2014 contracts. The first one is a Crest Initiative Cooperative Agreement between all of our counties, and it deals with the allocations. And that's pretty much it. It's for 2014. Only for 2014. We will end up with a new plan for 2015. Other than that, I have a SEMCAC contract, and that's all about transportation. And that just needs signing too. These are all very routine. They're renewables. They're all very standard, what we've already done. And then there is also a delegation of licensing function for Houston County, and this is a contract we share with Olmsted. What it has to do with is it has to do with quality assurance of our waiver and disability services management, and it's pretty standard too. There's a couple of little things in there that are changed, but nothing significant. This contract runs for 1.5 years, so it runs through June 30th of 2015. I believe what I need is a motion and approval and a signature.
Of all of them?
That's it today.
I mean, all of them can be grouped together in a motion?
I'm sure so.
I think we
Okay.
can.
Motion to approve the contracts as presented.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. I'll bring them up, and that's what I
Sounds
have.
good.
Oh, I should mention, I did mention about Karen. The only thing I should say though, I did have one little note about her. Don't know what I did. Oh, there we go. We are working, one update from Karen's group, we are working on getting a navigator down here. This will be a fellow from the Twin Cities who's gonna come down and be on a regular schedule, so he will have a presence here helping people with MNsure and helping people fill out applications.
Is
So
that
that's-
Jacob still?
Say the name again?
Jacob Griffin?
No, Jacob is, he would be, I guess they title him an ambassador, but
Okay.
this would be a fellow who is a counterpart to Jacob, but he is a navigator and not an ambassador. And he has a really hard last name to pronounce, really long, but his first name is John. But I'm just really happy we are going to have someone down here who will have a presence, who knows what they're doing, and they can help people. So we do have to figure out a place to put that person, but we'll figure that out. It'll be no big deal. So we're just happy we're gonna have him. Otherwise,
I'll kind of break down my updates into two worlds, the adult world and the children's world here. We'll start with the adults, and one of the things I was going to talk about a little bit is our rate management system, just to kind of refresh you a little bit. I know I talked about it quite a bit, but basically the legislature made some decisions in regards to how we're accounting for our money, our waiver money that we spend on individuals with disabilities, kind of brain injuries, and things like that. And the system they have in place now that was kind of pushed through by legislature is just not really working well. And things are not going through, and the flip side is our rates are going up quite a bit. Things that we could kind of negotiate rates for before, personal support services, respite services, they now just give us an amount, which is far above what we were paying before. And so this is going to kind of have a pretty big impact on our waiver budget. And so it's roughly $3 million, I believe, something like that. And so we serve roughly 180, 200, 300 people under this waiver, and so those numbers are going to go up quite a bit. And so just a heads up. It's also been a headache of just getting things in. Social workers are hitting error messages. We have every Friday the state has now put out a phone teleconference because they know that it's just not going well. And so we have Q&As every Friday with DHS to kind of figure out what's going on. So they're kind of running around like a chicken cut out, trying to figure all this stuff out, and it's kind of been difficult. But they're working through it. I mean, they're really working hard, and they are. Today at a regional meeting to talk about it further, and so just kind of FYI on that one. Big increase I was talking earlier in regards to chemical dependency cases at this point in time. For whatever reason, being a social worker down, that's kind of been dispersed out between a couple other people. So we've had 3 or 4 at least a week last few weeks that have come in, need assessments, things like that. And so we're working kind of getting that done. And then the other one for adults is the Min Choices system, the new assessment system for individuals with disabilities is now put on delay. Issues have come through, different counties are piloting the system right now. A lot of it is technology-based, errors, things not going well. So our rollout was March, that has now been delayed until mid-April, which is good because the training they have for it has not been completed yet. Not by us. We've been on track. Matter of fact, we are ahead of schedule, but they have not rolled out the training yet through DHS that we can even review.
And which program is this?
Min Choices, that's the new screening tool for individuals. They'll replace the developmental disability screening tool and the long-term care screening tool. So they'll just have one screening now that will encompass everything, and traumatic brain injury as well. So, and then we'll go look at the kids' world. We've had 3 volunteers for the crisis respite program to kind of take on the first 3 months, and we'll kind of reevaluate to see how it goes after that. So 3 foster parents will be on call each month to take kids in crisis. We've had, I think, at least 1 so far already. And so really cutting down and eliminating that police time after hours at this point. So we'll see how that goes at this point. And then the last kind of thing I was going to talk about too is our targeted case management rates. These are rates generated for the work we do in, we can see all aspects of things. And then we went to a training last week in regards to our rates, other people's rates, and how we kind of do and have to document all the things we have to document to make sure that we're recouping that. And we're doing fairly well. I think our workers have a pretty decent understanding of it, but our rates are very low. And it's based off of things such as caseload sizes and the maintenance effort and how much we put towards different programming. And right now, we run pretty lean here. So our rates are lower because we have higher caseload sizes and we don't put as much into some of those programming. And so, as an example, Hennepin County's rate might be 2,200, where ours is closer to 400. I mean, it's a big disparity.
That's a big
But they have a lot of workers. And so, I mean, and that's kind of what it's based off of. So the state is looking at revamping that to go to a different system. Hopefully, I would like to see it into a tiered system where it's based off the time you spend. Some PMAPs and other agencies that do some case management stuff do that. But time will tell. There's a task force right now up in the city that's working on revamping that and what that rate will look like to create some continuity between counties. But it's all in the works.
So we get penalized for being lean and
Yeah.
efficient.
It's because
Exactly.
they want to assure the quality of service, so they don't want you to have large cases. We usually really have a caseload, if you're looking at a children's mental health caseload of 15 to 18, we're running 21, 22, somewhere in there. But again, it's mandated we have to provide the service, and so it goes, kind of, it's catch-22. Sometimes you have to, spend more to raise your rate, and you don't know. There's got to be a balance there, but most counties haven't figured out what it is yet, so.
When you were talking about the adult, the problems at the state, are they backpedaling on any of their requirements?
The only good bit of news that I've heard so far is back pay. If you are eligible to have a 245D license, they will go back till January 1st if you get it figured out in time. Depending on the service, depending on your eligibility. But a lot of it is glitch after glitch. I had an email today saying that basically the rate increases will have to go through legislature. Hopefully something will change with that next year. Not a whole lot of reprieve at this point for our waiver budgets, to be honest with you. And a lot of it was pushed through, not necessarily because of DHS. I mean, they're picking up the pieces of what legislature did last year. And And so it's just gonna be one of those things where they're gonna have to work it out day by day, week by week. You know, I personally think one of the impacts that's gonna happen is our impact with our provider relationships. They wanna get paid, and they should get paid for services they're providing. And at this point, we're not able to enter what we need to enter, they aren't able to bill for it, because of system errors and just what they're trying to do. And it's creating some frustration, rightfully so, to be honest with you. So, big complex system, you know, and counties are caught into what this legislation and DHS are trying to do. Hopefully it'll all work out, you know, it's everywhere. You know, I have contact with every county in the region. Everybody has similar or different frustrations with it.
Yeah, it's universal, that's for
It
sure.
really is.
Yeah. Yes, and then on the income maintenance side, the MNsure is not running as swiftly as it should either. So there's a lot of frustration that way with the counties feel.
Just so we don't lose providers because they're not getting.
And to be honest with you, we already have, and that just came through the licensing process. It went, and honestly, which just got more complex. It went from 16 forms to be a licensed provider to now it's up to 29. Something like that, just to get your license. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, how many times do you need to rewrite your name on a form, and that's more than that too, so it's hard. Yeah.
It's too bad.
Yeah, because
It just hurts everybody. It hurts the people who need the help.
Yeah.
It hurts the people willing to do it.
I do have one thing I forgot, and it's because my papers got shuffled. I would like to bring forward, and actually I think Michelle and I were going to talk about this a little bit, so I'm not sure if I can do this today exactly, but I'd like to bring forward the authorization to write off some uncollectible delinquent accounts we have. We've never done this before, but the state auditors now are recommending that we get rid of some of our old account balances that are out there, and there are certain things, they just keep rolling over and rolling over, but there is a list of criteria, and I think I had emailed that in your packet, so I won't read through the whole thing, but a lot of it is like the client has moved and we have no forwarding address, or it might be we've someone has died and there's really no more way to collect, or things like maybe it is less than $100 and we haven't received a response in years. So it's a lot of old stuff. Anyway, it adds up to be basically 41 uncollectible accounts, and the total is $69,815.62. And what that will do is it will lower than our accounts receivable balance we have. I will say though, that balance has maintained itself, and it has not grown much within the last 2 or 3 years, maybe even longer than that, maybe 4 years. Anyway, it's because we do have a really diligent accounting staff who they're doing things that other counties don't do on a large scale. We do collect estates. We have sold property.
What are your total receivables?
Oh golly, probably off the top of my head, I would say just about a couple $100,000.
Okay.
So this should reduce it quite a bit. At the end of the year for the state auditors, we always have, the listing and the final numbers, and then that goes into our accruals. So every year we have to do a best guess or an estimate of how much is write-off, and how much is collectible. And in the past, I know we always thought probably 15% of it was collectible. That percentage has gone up now, and so we estimate higher amounts are collectible, which is really good. But we need to get some of this old stuff off the books because we are still processing it every month, and it needs to be gone. So I do believe I need a motion and a second.
I move to make the write-off.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, thank you.
There you go.
I think we're done, other than I need to give you these.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for your wonderful report.
I appreciate the time.
It's always positive, right?
I'm trying.
You do a good job if you could just straighten out the state.
Well, you let me know if you have a way to do that, I will gladly.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
Jamie around corner?
I know she had court before.
Oh,
but I forgot.
So we can continue with,
Okay, why don't we continue with, well, let's continue with our unfinished business then. Highway Department building, I think you mentioned you have a meeting next week, right?
Correct.
yep.
And courthouse issues, we haven't heard any, when we have to appear before the House of Representatives?
Nothing
or-
new yet.
Nothing yet, okay. Approval for claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims, human services, and license center disbursements.
I'll second it.
Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Follow up to committee appointments, anybody for the ABC Board of Directors yet?
Did we already do that?
Hey, Cindy, this
Yes,
is Sharon.
forfeiture.
The board is ready for Jamie early if she is available.
Yeah, we did that one.
Great, thank you. Bye.
That was, that cancellation of forfeiture was the one from
Yep.
Shar, we already
Okay.
did that. Okay. So do we have anybody for that ABC Board of Directors?
Did we talk about asking them if they had somebody?
I
Yeah, I think we
did, I
did.
called them, I talked to them, and I said I needed to know by today, or we'll just have to leave it blank until we can get a name, and they're still looking.
Okay.
So I did follow up on it then.
Board of Adjustment, Rick is gonna follow through on that.
Yep.
EDA,
I talked to Rick this morning, and they had someone attend the last meeting who's interested, but is not quite ready to commit, so we'd like to hold off.
okay. And Planning Commission, we just filled.
So can we go ahead with the booklet and leave ABC and EDA blank
Sure.
for now?
I will get that
And then-
ready for you.
And then the, if we hear back on the other one, then we'll be ready.
Yep, sounds great.
Sounds good. Commissioner report. Dana?
Yeah, I had one meeting last week with Bee Creek Watershed in Spring Grove. Met with, they had officials from both Minnesota and Iowa conservation boards. It was a very good meeting. Been working on funding, they want more funding. So that's all I had.
Good.
And I was at the summit that I was talking about earlier.
EDA one, yeah. Steve?
And I had planning and zoning interview, that was all.
And I had the CJC meeting,
Oh, so did I. Now that you mentioned it.
and that was really interesting. I mean, it's gonna be a good fit. They had speakers that were talking about a new center for mental health, right, Steve? The one in Rochester. Something youth and adults.
Just specifically for mental health for?
Yes, it'll be for mental health, and it'll be, no, not just mental health, it'll be for alcohol, or addictions. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
mainly for addictions, and if they have mental health problems, they go to a different program after 13 months, but they're the ones that are
It has to be addiction related. I think.
addiction related to
yeah.
start. So it looks like it's a nationwide program, and it'll be coming into Rochester, and we will be able to hook people up to it. And I wish I would have brought that guy's card.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a really good program, and it'll take insurances and things like that to put people in it. They could be court ordered, but they still could accept private insurance. People can just go in, they can be checked in on their own after, but we have to provide the evaluation, is that what it's called, before they check in?
Oh, yeah, and I just don't remember.
It was, but the program itself just sounded like something we really need.
Something
Previous
closer
to
to
this,
home.
we would have to send people to the cities. So now there's a chance, and one part of it has 20 beds. And one part,
That I don't remember. as much
40 or
as,
60,
you know.
40 on one side, 60 on the other. It's a lot of beds, and it's located up on Assisi Heights in Rochester. And they're nationwide, so they know what they're doing as they're starting this, and it's, some of it's faith-based. You can go faith-based or you can go not faith-based, but it's a 13-month program to help people fight their addiction, and it's a what do you call it, when they're inpatient program. So it just sounded like a really good thing.
Sounds good. And I only had the interviews for planning commission, so. And Jamie's here, so you're up if you'd
You
like.
ready for me?
We are.
Gotcha.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You have the, what do you even call that thing these days?
Agenda
The-
request?
Yep.
Yes, thank you. So you obviously know that I'm requesting the assistant county attorneys, per diem for their cell phones. I thought that we had this approved previously, and as it turns out, Sue had tried to submit a voucher for it, and it didn't work. So it didn't work in that I had to come here and ask you again. But I should let you know the assistant county attorneys are constantly being contacted after hours. A lot of the reason why we're doing that is because we'll send emails, with follow-up investigations for some law enforcement, with, bullet-pointed questions and things that we need answers for. A lot of them work a night shift, so they'll sit down in front of their computer at that time when we're not there, and then they'll respond to the emails. So, and then a lot of times they'll conduct their interviews that night too. So it's important that we're responding in a timely manner. There's also a lot of phone calls that come in, and whenever there's somebody in custody on the weekends and a 48-hour hold needs to be done, if for some reason I can't be reached, then you contact one of the assistants. And it's important that a prosecutor is able to say that, to set a bail amount, or to be able to say that that person needs to be held for court pending Monday's hearing. So that's the basis for my request. Again, it's smartphones, it's answering email, responding to phone calls whenever needed.
And it's the two of them, right?
It would be two assistants, yeah.
You haven't gotten the new one yet, or?
No, that should be posted as of now. Tess was on that pretty quick, and so, despite all the other stuff she had going on, we went and got that posted hopefully last week, if not now. So it kind of looks to me, just update on that, looks like we're looking to hire by pretty quick, run some interviews, as long as we're getting applicants in that, we would like to interview, and then go ahead and try to get somebody hired by middle of February.
It makes sense to have contact like that with the assistant county attorneys. So
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Thank you.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Thank you, commissioners, very much.
All right, looks like we covered the majority of our agenda. We talked about doing a recess before we do any strategic planning, and we also need to have a department head review, and we usually do that in the conference room with Rick for his annual review. So rather than
Can we have a
adjourn,
motion to recess?
we would need a motion to recess, I
A
think.
motion?
Second?
Pardon?
For how long is definitely, or what are we thinking?
Until next Tuesday. I think we could take, a 20-minute or 15-minute break, and
15,
then
yeah.
do Rick's 10-minute, you want a 10-minute, and then do Rick's
Go to- yeah.
review in the conference room, and then reconvene for our strategic plan.
Sure.
Sound good? Okay.
Okay.
10-minute recess I'm looking for.
And the meeting will go then into the,
We'll do Rick's review and then come
Doing
back
that
here
now?
for,
no,
We're in the
10
We'll have
minutes.
10 minutes, then we'll go with.
Review Rick?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Will you let Rick know too then?
I will do that.
We need a motion
We got a motion.
and a second.
Yep, yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.